Hi guys and welcome back to another video on the list with another review Daniel, and today we're going to give you our, our thoughts, but before we get into that bit of housekeeping, NXT review will be moved to Thursday as I'm obviously at the football all tomorrow night and have to be out early for that. So yeah, that's why tomorrow's NXT review will be pushed back to Thursday. But without any further ado, let's get into it. So we start off with a promo exchange between Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. Becky said, what's it going to take to get rid of you? You've ruined my life. Uh, that AJ Lee is she's the heir to support her friend Max in um Becky then starts them in the high school half. She's on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Even AJ he says that uh, um Becky and says she can't stand her stupid eyebrows and like basically her in general. It's just a funny if I it's just funny if I double in that sense. Then AJ says uh the any AJ says put the title up against me Ian Chicago. Becky says no um a few times actually. Um and then she reluctantly Giddy and then says she's going in Paris or in her hometown. Technically, it kind of is her hometown and kind of isn't. She was brought up in the New Jersey area, but because of her marriage to Punk, I let her, I let the Becky and have that one, but it's technically eh, um, geographically incorrect at the same time. Um, but yeah, then we get to the Usos versus the Alpha Academy. This match was a lot better than what I thought it would be. The Usos take control early, and it almost feels as though they are wrestling as heels for a bit because they cut off the ring for a good portion of the Alpha Academy fight, but uh, the finish of the match sees Tozawa hit a senton splash from the top rope. Um, Jimmy was able to break it up. The shows then isolate Otis with it on hits him with the 1D Usos retain. And I don't know, guys, but I'm kind of getting a bit over the Usos myself. I'm not as down on them as say um sh- sh- Sean and Omar from the So What You Saying YouTube channel. Go check out their latest episode of the podcast series where they talk a bit about pop culture, WWE, metal music, etc. It's a really fun podcast, and I've had them both of them on my channel a few times, and yeah, it's a really entertaining listen. Actually, the way he comes off is really articulate. He's always very good at getting his points across, and Sean's just a fun guy to listen to in his own right. So yeah, it's a really fun podcast. I'll stick that down in the description. Um, I'll stick the whole channel down in the description. Go check out the latest episode. But anyway, next week to Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio coming out, and Liv is still kind of teasing Liv is still kind of teasing the championship she's gonna go after, so her and Dom come out and they uh, and they um and they sort of bask in the glory of so and but Dominic kind of sort of the Dominic kind of sort of off. This would be a theme throughout the night that the tease tension between teams. They done it with Alpha Academy and Usos after the match where they pound the mat, but the Usos have been double back to resolve it with the promo. The reason why I didn't talk about that was because it was really short in terms of content. But yeah, so Dominic Mysterio and her up, so if she's about to say that she's a get ready to women's Royal Rumble winner of all time, um, to present her with a gift, he says, hold on, Rita, uh, um, he gives her a big bunch of flowers, and of it, so a chocolate, so I've actually said you'll get your gift. You, um, you'll get your gift a bit with later on, Dominic Mysterio, you lucky one. and um, but but so as well as announced his book for them as the greatest one, and also the ICB and the Women's Royal Rumble. They don't make me mention of the other belt that Dominic holds, the Triple Omega Championship. I thought that was a bit action, um, um, but anyway, well, I've said whatever champion should be aces at Royal Rumble and whatever champion he picks, they're gonna go down to have the greatest women's champion of all time. Out comes Stephanie Victoria. She says, um, she says, she says to have you talk to much, you talk too much. She said, "There's a load in Spanish. I can't speak of the Spanish, unfortunately. So I've asked John what did she say? He and he says I can't repeat it on it. Yeah, Stephanie, but yeah, actually, um, se- is uh, um, Stephanie, but yeah, actually, is she's gonna kick his ass, and she says so. The, um, and then the home actually says something in Spanish back about the championship. This is where you do need some level of subtitles on the show, because Triple A have them to a very small degree, but at least they've still got them. Um, ultimately though, um, ul- ultimately though, ultimately those if actually is take all the you little but uh, then with Morgan um says um said I'd give you the t-shirt hot arrows of Dom, but by the look of you, you don't have the right to work either. I kinda do disagree with Olive Morgan's Stephanie always kinda it was great to be honest, but like as does Morgan and after that um will have actually um will have actually said something in Spanish again that she's picked up from the Dominic the Dominic gets in between them and Steph slaps the so it's well here you're gonna get it's so here you're gonna get match between the two. Well, later on, though, see the Judgment Day. Uh, you'd see the Judgment Day in the Hill of House all get together and have a chat. Dominic Mysterio says it's confirmed that he'd put his um championship on the line. He, um, so yeah, there's uh, uh, they all turn uh, they all turn around to find um the altar around to find Balor. Finch as he's not done with from CM Punk, that much is obvious. That much is obvious. Yes, then then we get a bit of tension between the um and for and the said that that's in the past. Trade deal will be back soon. You guys need to focus on the Raw Tag Team Championships. Um, hence, as I thought with the family, I'm tired of taking. I'm tired of taking a back. I still want uncomfort with my family. So again, tensions are growing. Then we get to the next match of the night, where it is a Emil, it is a Europe, eh, Ivan, you and all either of area. After a really good bit of offense from all three, even Ivan Neil got a decent amount of offense, and this was probably the best match of the night, guys, to be honest. Um, this was probably the best match of the night. It sees obviously that probably over. Shipanzola, I thought Ivy was gonna get the pin here, and it just slips into and it slips into like Ira I cannot come up with it. Joseph later on in the show, she says Isa every time Ian Bell he'll we have to and talk to you. Um, he'll he tries to come Ida down, and it's very obvious it's heading to a feud between those two as well. Ida can't challenge and show inch for the belt anymore as well. Area is iced out of having another shot. She's kind of been Woody Rhodes if you remember and he was still in AEW, he was the iced out of the World Heavyweight Championship in AEW. Um, so yeah, there's that. Then we get to see, then we get to see him. um, um, CM Punk scheduled for an scheduled for an interview soon, but we'll come back to that as I forgot to talk about Giovanni Evans and the original El Grande up against Rayo and Bravo of all awesome Americanos. So yeah, so Javon said on in the that he'd have a steady partner or or after or he says they take that is only go on to in the Chamberlain match. I don't think he will personally, but yeah, but anyway, yeah, so this again is a really a good back and forth match. The ending in the match I thought would be sort of the win part. So if you had them Javon on Evans hit, you had to Javon on Evans hit her half over after OG or tolerate them and do and the ring very impressive as but her Avo comes off the top and yeah and yeah and um yeah the original Elgra and the and Vaughan Evans get the one and over Bravo and more Ohio. Interesting to note though. Interesting to note though the reception of both Elga and the Americanos is very different in Mexico. The baby faces Kaisers Elga and the Americano with the Mexican colors on his mask. But over in the States, it's the original El Grande Americano. It's the baby face, so a bit of Bret Hart 97. And if you remember that shit show on, but like it wasn't shit, it was one of the best storylines that ever done. I don't think they have watched it in certain aspects, the whole Canada versus USA storyline. Maybe it's a controversial choice, and I know you'll probably slit my throat for that, but yeah, um, but yeah, but yeah, that's the interesting development of El Grande. He's attempted to unmask each other. Of course, we all know the identities of both. And yeah, so it's interesting they've turned the negative into a positive, obviously. Now Grande gimmick was started off with a Chad Gable, but obviously when he went down injured, it was Ludwig Kaiser that kinda got handed to the gimmick. Obviously, they both have held to the speed championship chip, although it was the original Elgin Andy that won the championship. Of course, he would and have to pass that over as with to Kaiser, and he was out injured. Kaiser lost it to Jasper or Troy on NXT. Um, but yeah, um, but yeah, now the Real Grande is exist on TV, and it's going to end up in a mass versus my last match at the WrestleMania or Triple A. But yeah, the way it's going, I think that'll be made for the WrestleMania because of the vignettes they could do, because they always pull out the stops production eyes for WrestleMania. Um, so then we get Finn Balor or went out, and it's originally slated for a CM Punk interview. See it, and Balor says he took CM Punk to the absolute limit and he's homo, and um and he's homo, and obviously Bow and then says Roman Reigns wants my ill WrestleMania. He then under around today that's him unbuckle the the aims to kid for anti-job journal in this historic WWE to run. Um, it and says it wouldn't be the first time you kid for anti-job I had to be eaten till this very unbuckle until this very turnbuckle gave one nice but a continuity yeah, and that is a hell of a match to go and watch back. It was really good, and the finish was very creative. So I'm impressed they acknowledge that here a bit of continuity. Sometimes they kind of leave that out the sort of continuity stuff. It kind of gets on my it's they did that they did that early on in the night where they said, "Oh, Ivy I was never on the championship in her time in WWE," and then you sit back and you say, "Well, and she was in Diamond Line in NXT, her and Tatum Paxton, he were the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships before all the else get, get, get fused with them in the roster of the version. I think I could all had a senior moment, but yeah, um, that kind of it's in my tats. Outcomes, outcomes the Honk and see, yeah, Honks, and see. Punk's think he liked Adam Eos of me and but ow all around when they be chasing him and not walking his teeth the only for what for the rest of the night. Eos wrote up to like reason says our elimination chamber itself. I shall see on of Elsie's fan Bao. I'll 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 so said he's going in but Alice Unkin has home to own and he is a ass just so like he did him and yeah um about with it Ronnie see Adam Eos and the vision prob um have some problems. He said you better not get involved in the all of match the triple threat all of Joe Logan Paul says or I'm but or on scenery says is my problem now is not easy was the own. So then we get the Natty and my accent the now this my didn't ask him very long obviously ends in a double count out no or contest. I kinda had the feeling it would be or should entry adjusting the O'Keefe agent make that always has but you also don't want to hand them seen another one also right or either um obviously nasty snaps and it's a sharp shooter on scene. She's if injured, so out comes AJ E. So out comes AJ E. And obviously the referees to help him scene out out back to the back. But obviously kill and show uh, and hits um hits Adriel from behind and tosses up into the ring post and obviously that and obviously that adds heat to the air title match. Um, again, um, though, as I said, it's probably for the best that ended in a double count out because you don't want to harm both um performers. In the back, when says to Iron Saxton that he's only room in the low elimination chamber. He's the guy that made a drop on Cena of up in his final match. He's already retired. Iron Old Bear and he put AJ Styles to so he pin his final match. He says he's only go one and one and the elimination chamber and yeah, so that's the uh, um I should actually mention as well what the start of the show Ron Breaker goes down with an injury, so it's up in the air of him. It's announced by Michael. Oh, I forgot to add that in. And in the main event, guys, early Night defeats L United defeats Austin Theory and um Austin Theory and Ben. Oh, sorry, I was about to say or Austin Reed, but nah, he was on the outside to with him Morgan. Oh, unfortunately, he get all the hate Morgan Paul so much. Um, But yeah, I thought this was a really good match. Austin, the really he had it. I really do like his new theme. It's kind of Linkin Park based. Um, of course, obviously, he then get some good offense and the vision trying to eke out early night, which kind of briefly opens the door for Penn. He tries the Mexican destroyer and Austin Theory, but he gets back, but they dropped him up all season. He, um, and and obviously the asthma and so, again the ups up to really early in I kinda as a or for Ivan self hits the power on or Roma and Erie and then he all fights for the elimination chamber actually joins um he joins a morality Orton here and yeah, so it's an interesting so it's an interesting setup of chamber the masma and stuff is already dragging out, but we won't find that out till the WrestleMania uh, or potentially some so but I think WrestleMania will find out the reveal. I genuinely think it's Seth Rollins because of the continuity that's been set up. Obviously dating back to Raw in New Zealand. Um, but yeah, but yeah, the actual episode of Rogue, I thought it was much, I thought it was a much more entertaining. So you didn't have the bell or anything like that on the show. It was a decent enough um show. Um and yeah, I thought it was a bit better promo quality. I think the balance was a bit better this week in terms of cheating promo content. Obviously you get the announcers actually say the over He's still to pick as Randy goes on to get a hype package over voiceover, and so he's still to pick the rant that he's on. He's obviously appearing off hands now on the main roster. But yeah, decent show. I'll give this a 7 out of 10. A lot better than last week's 6 out of 10. So a 7 is just about right. The balance is right, and they've got some set up or chamber at last. And yeah, I saw like arrive and all of my matches continue on SmackDown, and I'll see you over very soon.